The topic of internal controls. This is a topic that, being honest, is a topic a lot of people don't like. A lot of people have a little more difficulty getting their mind around what's happening in internal controls. And so I want to talk about that, give you some pointers, some ideas about how you can deal with it, and also help you keep it in perspective. We'll start with the perspective. Section E is 15% of the exam. And internal controls is one of the parts of Section E. So 5%, 3%, 7%. We're not talking about a huge part of the exam. So keep that perspective in mind. When you're studying for internal controls and you're struggling through segregation of duties, you're not going to have 7 questions about the segregation of duties. You're not going to have 7 questions about what controls should be implemented. You're going to have 1, maybe 2 about each of these different elements within the topic of internal controls. The reason I think a lot of people find this topic difficult is because there's no formulas. There's no calculations. We can't calculate the number and prove that we did it correctly or show where it is that we made the mistake. We start getting into some gray areas. What should we be doing? What would be the best control? What type of control? And these are some that are up for discussion. And you look at the answer choices and you say to yourself, wow, I don't really see much of a difference between choice A and choice B. They sound like exactly the same thing to me. So we're in that gray area. We don't have the formulas, we don't have the calculations, we can't prove that one of the answers is correct and the others are wrong and what the mistake is. But a couple of tips for you as you go through this. This is a topic that takes a little bit of time. Don't sit down and say, I'm going to spend the next 6 hours and I'm going to study internal controls. That's not going to work. This is one where you're better off spending shorter periods of time a little more often. Doing 5 or 6 MCQs at a time instead of 20. Because this is something that, the way I look at it, is your brain just kind of needs to think about it, to percolate on it a little bit. As you do the MCQs, as you read the terms that are used, it starts to slowly come together. It's not necessarily something that happens the first time you go through this topic, the first time you read it, but as you do the questions, as you see the questions about fixed assets and about inventory, it slowly starts to come together. When you look at segregation of duties and what types of duties need to be segregated, sometimes you don't see it right away. But after you've done some of the questions, after you think about it and give your mind a little bit of, kind of in the background to be working on this, you begin to recognize, oh, that's what the authorization is. Oh, that's what the recording in this situation is going to be. So don't panic. Take it slow. Let it kind of come to you. Shorter study sessions, not as many MCQs at a time. Think about those incorrect answer choices. What could you do to make that incorrect answer choice correct? How would the question need to be changed so that this incorrect answer choice would be correct? That helps you also take one question and kind of look at it from different perspectives, which prepares you for other questions as well. So, I'll be honest with you, some people don't like this, especially if you don't have a lot of experience or background in internal controls. But part of that is simply because it's different. Like I said, it's not a formula, it's not a calculation, it's a concept. And you have to apply that concept to a lot of different situations. Let it come to you, take it slow, smaller study sessions more frequently, and again, keep it in perspective. This is the smallest section on the exam, and this is one of the topics within that smaller section. So you're not going to have 15 questions about segregation of duties. Be patient, let it come to you, and keep in mind what this represents to the whole exam. And if you do all of that, I think internal controls will be a lot easier for you, certainly will be a lot less stressful for you. And I think in the end you'll find that you do understand it. You are ready for those questions. Might not be as quick as you want, but be patient, let it come to you, and you will be ready for these questions when you take your exam.